everybody. This is gets a little frustrating here. This is Ginger and Ginger's chat show. Sorry, I'm fighting allergies, and it's been kind of a rough morning for me. And yes, I know I'm not up high enough. Here we go. There, much better. Um, It's Friday, June 30th, the last day of June, and of course, tomorrow, July 1st, and Tuesday will be July 4th. And I hope they enforce it over the weekend. There's now an ordinance in Lakewood. Um, that fireworks can only go off on July 4th from X number of time to X number of time. And I hope they enforce that. I really do. Because people only want it one day and they don't want it to go on for eons, several days. And so I only heard one batch of fireworks last night, and it's like, no, you can't set it off X number of days prior. Because they could get in trouble and they could get their fireworks taken away from them. Which is good. Because a lot of my neighbors have pets, have cats and dogs, and they just don't like the noise. And there's some that are veterans here too. So you don't want PTSD starting. So anyway, I hope all is well. Of course, you know the Supreme Court has done some dumb things. I feel they've done some dumb things, and I'm surprised that the Chief Justice did not put his foot down on the right wingers and say, no, this is not going to happen. He should have had more teeth in it. Yesterday the Supreme Court overruled or overturned the affirmative action law. And a lot of minorities and everything else use the affirmative action or many colleges and hiring have done this to even out things and promote diversity and everything else. Well, I don't know what the ruling was and what they can and cannot do on affirmative action. But there was a rumor going around, well, if you promote diversity, you will be sued and this and that and the other. Well, it's stupid. What's wrong with promoting diversity? Okay? I've gone into college on my own. I didn't really need affirmative action, but people that want to go to school should be allowed to go to school. Okay? Even Justice that guy on the Supreme Court, Thomas, who is pretty corrupt and he should have been removed. He knocked down the affirmative action. Well, he's been helped by it. So, you know what? I think he's forgotten that little teeny wee little detail on that. That's helped him. It's helped a lot of people. It helped a lot of good journalists like Joy Reid and everything else. And she said, I cannot understand that. Very rarely colleges use it in front of action anymore. They usually go by good grades. If you really get good high GPA grades and everything else from high school, and you have took some of the required courses in high school, it should be fine. But there are some people, there are some colleges and everything else that are too snotty, too snooty, let's put it this way. They're being a bunch of snoots that don't want to accept people, minorities, women, people of various ethnic backgrounds and everything else into their colleges, afraid of tainting them. Well, I'm sorry. That's got to stop. I have a number of friends I know that are from different ethnic backgrounds. So what? You know, they're smart. They want to make things better for themselves and also make things better for those around them, including their communities and their country, whatever industry that they're in, or whether they're doing public service or they're working in the private industry. Really. So I don't understand why affirmative action was taken down. I really don't. I mean, it's been working fine for, what, 50, 60 years. And why fix something that's not broken? And the same way goes for student loan forgiveness. Why do they knock that down? What's wrong with forgiving student loans? Because COVID has not helped things any. People couldn't go to work and couldn't pay bills or anything else because of COVID, and it was wiping out a lot of people. So really, the Department of Education should be going, you know what? We'll forgive the loans, and to the Supreme Court, screw you. You're not doing your job properly, and you should not be meddling in something like loan forgiveness. And you know what? They should revamp the student loan process. They should revamp it. Get rid of the interest rates. Get rid of it. You don't need the interest rates. And just pay a flat price or a flat return on the loan. Not all this interest crap. And two, they need to go into all the schools in the United States, territories in the United States, and say, okay, what's the average do the teachers make? All the way from kindergarten all the way up to college. What's the average do they make? Okay. Especially the colleges. They should do an average. Find out what the average is in all the colleges. And then restructure the student loans. And have the student loans serviced by the U.S. Department of Education only. No banks. Banks should not be meddling in that. That should go through the Department of Education. That's what Obama did when he found out. When I was going through college at the time. He found out the banks were basically gouging more money. And those that paid off their loans were kept getting charged for it. When it's already paid off. You know? I go, that's gotta stop. That's greed. That's what all it is there is greed. So, Supreme Court, you better start listening to the people who you work for, which is us, the people. You work for us. You don't work for yourselves. You don't work for corporations. You don't work in the corruption or anything else. And those that are corrupted in there in the Supreme Court, the right wing, you know what? You need to be given the boot. What you've done, you broke every rule that you enforced. You take those rules and enforce it on the other courts, as far as ethics goes. You know what? You guys are being hypocritical. You don't follow the same rules because you're all different. Well, yeah, I'm ranting about it. But you know what? They need to be put in their place. And in the Senate Judiciary Committee, since they are given the task of doing the confirmation hearings of all the judges and everything else, they should have the right to fire them. or give the president power to fire the judges when there's sufficient proof that they did wrong, which they did. Well, look at Thomas. He's been taking bribes for years, and that should be a no-no. And he should be punished for that. And I don't know about these guys. I really don't. You know? Okay. Now, since I noticed only 2 people come on, but I haven't seen anything come on in comments yet, so I don't know if you guys are really there. I think Facebook is being funny. So anyway, that's what's going on. So why fix a law that's been working just fine, and all the colleges and universities tailored to the affirmative action? They say they just do it on basically the basis of grades, okay? But yes, there is discrimination going on where they should not be discriminating against. Now on the other news, as usual, he who shall not be named is so busy whining and crying and everything else. Everything's being done to him in the judicial system and everything. Well, so what? He got himself there. He put himself there. It's his fault and no one else's. And he should stop doing that. Just a minute. My phone's acting up and it wants to be fed electricity. Just 1 minute. Pretty soon I got to replace this phone because it's getting old. Getting shy of 5 years old. There we go. Now, his lawyers and everything else, I don't know where he gets these lawyers, because half of them, or 3/4 of them, have never done in court trials or anything and really know how things really work. He picks some dumb ones. He really has. And of course he's dumb himself because he's not listening to them. That's why he keeps losing. He's not listening what they're trying to tell him. Okay. So I see 2 comments. I don't know what comments. I don't see a comment coming up. Let me check. Message me. That's on stream. That's working. That's weird. There we go. Now it's come up. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, for some reason the comment section here did not come up. I don't know why it did that. I know a lot of bloggers like me, or video creators like me, have been having a lot of trouble. Especially if YouTube has been having a lot of trouble yesterday. Well, you saw John's show yesterday. He was going along all the time. It just quit working. And so I don't know if it was on his end, his internet end, or it's YouTube that's doing this. There are a lot of bloggers that are having trouble with this. And also there are a lot of bloggers that are leaving Facebook, because Facebook sits there and gets very greedy on the money when we're trying to earn our money, and yet Facebook turns around and gets very greedy and takes the money and leaves very little or nothing to us bloggers. And that's why a lot of them are leaving and going to other platforms. So you think Facebook would learn? And I think Zuckerberg has forgotten why he set up Facebook. I mean, what was the real reason of setting up Facebook? Okay. Thank you, Teresa. ¿Cómo está? So anyway, he's in trouble. And apparently now, from what I understand, this morning, Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, has gone down to Georgia to talk to Georgia election officials and the Secretary of State there regarding the federal crime that Trump did on the January 6th, on the elections, interference. Because that is a federal no-no. And so he's checking them out, and also they're getting very close to indicting him in that issue as well. Also, they're getting very close to indict Trump on the January 6th insurrection, which he tried doing. And you know what? I think now the DOJ needs to take their gloves off and say to Trump, you know what? If you don't shut up and you don't leave the witnesses alone, guess what we're going to do? We're going to, since you've already been arrested and arraigned and everything else on your own reconnaissance, we're going to put you in jail and keep you there until all this is done, and you will be put in solitary to shut up, where no one could hear you. They need to take the gloves off and put that man in jail. I'm sick and tired of him acting like a little spoiled brat. And you'd think when growing up after he was born and everything else, you think his parents would somehow, I know back then they didn't have the setups like they do now, but back then you'd think he would get some kind of help, send him to a psychologist, child psychologist or something like that, to find out what's going on. And they should have put a stop to it right there. But knowing his parents, they just wanted to pander to him. And even his own niece, Mary, she says his parents basically let him get away with a lot of stuff, and they should have not let him get away with it. The grandmother had enough. The grandmother, who happens to be his dad's mom, she wouldn't put up with that crap. And one day during dinner, when he kept bugging his brother and everything else, and harassing him, bullying him, her grandmother came up with a bowl of mashed potatoes and dumped it on Trump's head and told him to sit down and shut up and behave himself. And she didn't care that he was crying. And also, she whacked him with a wooden spoon. And she put her son, his dad, in his place too. Because he knew he had to respect his mom. When the grandmother says, you do. Now, I never knew my grandparents, so I knew the, right and from wrong and everything else. So, as everybody else does. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I will post this video on my YouTube channel. I got 40 subscribers. I'd like to see more. And I'd like to see more likes on my show here. Because I need more likes. And I need more likes on my YouTube channel too. I'm sorry I'm not up to the stage yet where on my YouTube channel that you can have a bell for reminder for my videos and everything else. I have to create more videos just for that. And I might just move to that. Just do my videos over on YouTube. Now, some of you may or may not know, YouTube is owned by Google. It's not owned by Zuckerberg over at Meta, okay? YouTube is owned by Google. And Google had done they're working on an excellent job at making sure that their bloggers are paid properly and everything else. And there's been some strong requests that, hey, you need to lower the standards, lower it down to, uh, like 50, 50 or 10 subscribers and just go from there and not make it like 1,000, 2,000 subscribers in order to go live, or just make it go live, period. Okay? Because right now this makes it frustrating for me, and I prefer to go live than just having a videotape and send it over. Now, some videotape it and send it over, and a lot of them have like 3,000, 5,000 subscribers or more, and some do go live, okay, because they're already there. But I like to see a little bit more income done on this. I really do. So, anyway, is there anything else? Oh, on my store, my Ginger Store and more. I have dropped PayPal. Of course, PayPal refuses to drop me. They refuse to let me go. But I dropped PayPal. I'm no longer using PayPal because they have done some unethical things, which they have. Now, PayPal is owned by eBay, who happens to be the guy happens to be the CEO and founder of eBay. And he's a Republican, and he goes after some people he knows that are Democrats that use the system or use the platform. But when I had my personal PayPal, then I had my business PayPal. When I had my business PayPal set up, it was going fine. It said, hey, you're all set up, you're good to go, and everything else. The next day I get a notice that say you're not allowed to use PayPal anymore because some violations. I go, what violations? I just signed on. So I gave them in my commentary card to them, and I gave them my earful. Okay, I told them what they're doing is wrong. I said, what are your community standards? It's the same as everywhere else. So what are your community standards? What did I do wrong? I barely even started. And I said, okay, if you're not going to allow me to use PayPal anymore, close out my account. Well, they wouldn't let me close out my account. I go, you guys can't have it both ways. It's either or. So, there's been a lot of complaints against them regarding what PayPal is doing. Now, when I do pay some of my bills or my subscriptions and everything else, I'll go through Google Pay. And it's much, much better. It's really much better. And I go through Shop Pay on my Shopify store and stores. Yes, I have another new store that's opening up. It's called Ginger's Headline Store. And all it does is it focuses on on-demand printing items, okay? So I'm working on that. That's going to be fixed. That's going to be set up. And yes, it takes time. Remember, everything when I do my update on my stores, it takes a day for everything to be in place, like the next day. Okay, it takes a while because of their servers and everything else. They were having server issues. So, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Have a wonderful weekend. Be sure to insist, persist, and push back and share. I don't mind sharing. We need to push back. We really do. And we really need to put the MAGAs in their place. And if the MAGAs want all this, go, you know what? Why don't you guys go find an island? Go over to Epstein Island and live over there. You know, have your own little utopia. So, um, so anyway, I will see you guys later. Have a good weekend. I will do my show on, let's see, what am I doing on Monday? Let me check my calendar 1 minute. Okay, I am all good. So I will see you on Monday and have a good weekend, guys. And take care. Okay, love you guys. Bye bye. Take care, Nancy. Stay safe from all the storms and the smoke and everything. Okay, talk to you later. Bye bye.